Hello and welcome back to our final lecture 4 of Blender to Unity 3D game engine, and you can give yourself a big applause if you made it that far already, or if you need some more practicing, just go back a couple of steps back and then watch again and do some trials here. So today we are building an experience to get to a target platform that it's .exe, and it needs to be tested as well and working. So try to build it for PC, so it's possible to open with PC as well. For me, it's not possible to open Apple files or builds or so on. So make sure you have a .exe product on your computer. So the structure, we have gone through the introduction to Unity Game Engine and UI, preparing your 3D models from Blender to Unity, then a little lecture about basic of level design and lighting, and then finally we have come into this working with 3D models in Unity and building an experience to a target platform. Here we have a little build settings for Unity, and then we have the final main task for you as well. Okay, we downloaded mistakenly a little bit wrong standard starter asset here. So you should see here on the starter asset that you have downloaded first person controller starter asset and not third person controller that we had before. So if you open this in your package manager and you download from asset store, you should see the first person controller appearing, and then you go to scenes and then you select playground. And now when you test this thing, you should be able to see a first person from eyes view. It should be able to hop on. It should have box colliders. You should be able to hop on of these objects here, go around, search for it, and also work with lighting and so on, and also some special effects if you want. First, what we need to do is that we have this environment thingy here with lots of sub files, like this gray boxing we were talking about. So if you right click on environment, first if you try to get rid of these things here, that actually you need to do this before you prepare your main tasks. So if you click on delete, you see that cannot restructure prefab instance. So it means that you need to unpack those prefabs. So what you need to do is to go to environment and right click and then go to prefab and then unpack completely. So now it turns into gray. It doesn't have this blue background here, so it turns into gray. And then when you want to delete these objects away from you, you can just point click and click on delete button. So basically we want to delete everything that we don't need here. We don't need these things for our own experience. It's much better to build your own experience here. So basically you can modify everything, but start with really simple ones. Actually, we are digging a little bit deeper here. So first you need to gray box a little bit. So if I want to put here, for example, a object like cube, you can see that it's in right size. It should be 1 meter, 1 meter big. So you should see this one. The capsule, my character here is a little bit small. It's probably a dwarf or something, but you should see kind of 1 meter long stuff. It's good to have this reference cube wherever you go. So you will see you will set the scaling right. So it's important not to have the coffee cup as big as a bus or airplane or whatever. So you can get a little reference when you add this kind of cube here, and it should be 1 meter by 1 meter. Okay, then we start building our own experience here. So if you go to your folder you created for models, you can see that you have your models here. You can use your Blender models that you used previously, the table, chair, and your object you designed in Blender. You can add the materials or add them here procedurally in Unity as well. But let's just drag and drop our Paasikivi somewhere here. And what I was thinking to do is to use this as a table. So table is usually like 1 meter high. So we are gonna control rotate this a little bit just next to the cube, and then select the height somewhere here. What is important here is that if you are playing right now, you will be able to see your object, yes, but you also will be able to go through it. So we don't want that. That's why we have a so-called box collider. So box collider kind of reduces you to go inside, and it adds the interactivity to it, so you can handle the object. So we want it to have some physical touch, so to say. So we select our object like this. We see here in hierarchy that is selected. We go right to inspector. We have all the attributes here, but we click on add component. Then we search for box collider. So it's this first one here. What happens, it creates this kind of box that you can also modify here like this, because it doesn't have box collider when you bring it from Blender. So it should have that. So let's see what happens now when we try our game. Yep, we are not able to go through it, and we will be able to jump on it. Really realistic stuff. And also our reference cube works as a table, so this looks like a table. I'm looking on top of the table, and we could place something there as well. So what do we have here? I just brought basic cube that I designed in Blender, so I can bring it over here. F to focus, and then raise it up so that you can see it more clearly. Okay, it's quite nicely located here. By the way, you can enable 2D as well. So in 2D mode, you can position this in a better way. I think it's quite well positioned right now. If we disable 2D view, we can see that it's quite nice. Where is our capsule? Here is our player. Okay, when we test this and play, we can see that, okay, our thing is there. Maybe right now we want to add some, maybe we want to add some lights here as well. So let's get some lighting, point light. Let's bring it closer. Like this. And then when we modify our lighting, we have actually many lights here. Reflector from, so okay, directional light is under lighting. So we can also modify this one so that the day turns into night. Something like this. So now you will be able to see our point light here and a little guidance here. Let's change the light color a little bit to red. Okay. I would change this range a little bit higher and also the intensity a little bit here and change the location as well. And then duplicate the light to create sort of 3-point lighting system around the object. Actually, this should be the one that is located on the back here. So you can play around with these a little bit and change the intensity. Okay, quite nice. Then when we want to add a reflective, not reflective, the transparent texture to our cup, it's possible. So we have this glass material here, but we actually need a new material, so we can create a material and call this glass. Okay, and from opaque rendering mode we need to select transparent, and then in color there is this albedo, so we changed it all the way to 0. Then when we add this material and drag and drop it on top of here, it should turn to transparent. Then we can get rid of this reference cube as well, and then we can try out our scene. So you just use your imagination and creativity here to create your cool looking scene. This is just some example, but you can imagine what else you can do. So extra points if you create 3-point lighting systems here, or some kind of interactivity where you need to jump or go. So if I'm going really far here, you can see still that those reflection probes are kind of affecting to the experience. Well, that's fine. Okay, when we think we are about done, we can add some text here as well. And we go to hierarchy, we right click, and then we create a 3D object and then text. Unity already has this Text Mesh Pro asset in Unity by default. So if you add this one, you can actually see that you have some text here. And then in Inspector, you need to change this text input to your name. And then font, you can affect to the font size as well. We don't want it to have so big font. And then we can actually place it somewhere here. So this is the stone pile named after me. And let's place it on top of that. So we can see that this is our work. Feel free to use some kind of object where you can see it or hide it to some smart way. But this is just one example of using this. Then when you are finally done with your experience, you can play around. You can even use scripts if you want, but it's not included in this tutorial. So now you can see that actually my object is here, my name is here, and I can circulate around it. What we need to do next when we are done with this and we want to deliver our project to showcase it, we need to build our experience. So go to File and then go to Build Settings. What you need to do here is that the scenes in build, there's nothing at the moment. So you need to add open scenes using this button here. So now you can see that this scene is appearing here: starter, assets, first person control, scenes, and playground that we have just created. Here you see this multi-platform possibility to build for PlayStation or PlayStation 5 or WebGL, even publish it in web, or you can use it for Windows or Mac or iOS or Android. But right now you can play with those, but right now we want to build it for Windows, Mac, and Linux using this kind of universal platform. Target platform gonna be Windows, Intel 64-bit default compression. Go to player settings as well, and you can see a bunch of settings here, but under player and under resolution here and presentation, you can also select your window, because you haven't built any UI to quit the game or save the game or whatever yet. So you need to actually get a windowed mode instead of full screen, because after playing this game you need to kind of click on Alt F4 if you want to go away from the game. So otherwise it's just gonna keep running. So windowed. And then just click on the build button, go to your desktop, for example, create a new folder like my first experience. My first experience. Click on that folder, select folder, and then it starts building your experience. It will take a while, not too long. Even the big games are built quite fast. And now you will be able to see your folder. And it's actually called Unity Module Test. You can change this name, like my experience, like this. You click on that. Okay. You can't change the name actually afterwards. You need to do it in Unity side. Okay. So basically now I will be able to share this. I can even upload it to Steam or start selling my game. So here I have my vast area of experience, a little bit lighting here, and I will be able to move around and investigate the object. So that's your thing. By the way, when you click on when you want to get away from here, usually it should work just control clicking and then releasing the mouse, but not right now. Okay, anyway, we need to close this by Alt and F4. So we can close this one. And then we are in my experience desktop. We need to kind of send it to compressed zipped folder. And then when you have my first experience, just put your name there so you can deliver your experience to whatever we want to deliver it and get your points. Awesome. I'm gonna add the material there, and feel free to experiment with this. Also your main task is gonna be here. I'm gonna put it like this. So your main task is also included here. So your task is to create an example build as an X file, and your project should include at least one model with textures from Blender, such as the ones that we were working in Blender course. Or you can create more of your own models here, add textures to that model in Unity side, download standard asset first person controller, not the third person character package, open the sample scene, modify it, add 3D text there and add your name there as well. That has to be there. Build your project, zip it and submit it. And extra points you get: create lighting to the scene where the player needs to go, use guidance lights, dark areas, create some interactivity by gamifying the experience, use 3-point lighting systems to light up the scene. Awesome. You can give yourself a big tap to your shoulder if you made it that far. And thank you for participating to this course. I'm grateful if you made it this far, even tried it a little bit, and you can imagine what else you can do with Unity, showcasing VR, AR, games, experiences, automation, character animation. You can do basically unlimited things. So thank you very much, and welcome hopefully in the next lectures and next courses, and see you. Bye bye.